No, 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 no.
Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, and I'm back with another video. This topic is going to be gaming, okay? So if you do not like gaming news, I apologize. Every once in a while, I'll upload a upload a video that has something to do with gaming. And today, we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X. It looks like a microwave. It looks like a little small refrigerator. It looks like a little amp speaker that you put in the back of your car or on your television. It's not the most attractive thing, okay? But at the end of the day, you get these consoles not because of the design and the look, but the performance of it, okay? So, and also last gen, I thought the PlayStation 4 looked hideous. I thought the Pro was terrible. I thought the OG Xbox One was ugly. I felt like the best looking console from last generation was the Xbox One X. Okay, thought that looked great, looked gorgeous. As well, out of all the consoles I mentioned, that was the best performance console. Okay, but once again, we don't get these consoles because of their looks. We get these consoles for the performance of it. Okay, now a lot of people on social media had said a lot of crazy things. The first thing they said was they feel like when it's released next holiday season, the novice shopper who's not familiar with gaming is going to, when they buy their little lad or their little girl or their husband or their wife, and they buy them the next gen system, they're going to get it confused, and they're going to end up buying an Xbox One X, because the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X, the title can probably be perceived as confusing. Now, to me, I don't think that's the case. All right. Even and I know a lot of people say, well, how can you get them confused? Okay. But you're speaking from a point of advantage of a gamer, someone who's very knowledgeable about gaming and gaming accessories. Okay. So you always have to speak from a point of someone who's not familiar with gaming, who's not familiar with consoles. And I'm pretty sure this happens every Christmas. Your gaming, the person that you're buying gifts for, that's a gamer, and they say they want NBA 2K, you end up getting last year's NBA 2K, or you get 2K from a different console. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that happens every holiday season, and I can understand why people who are not familiar with gaming will make that mistake, will make that assumption. But as far as the Xbox One X being confused for the Xbox Series X, I just don't see that happening. I see it minute. I don't see a lot of people doing that, but I don't think that, should have been blown up on social media like, well, I don't like the name because it can confuse people because of the Xbox One X. It's already out in the market, and the Xbox Series S. Plus, I think next year you're not going to see a lot of Xbox One X next holiday season. I think they're going to have sales this holiday season, as well as the early next year. Try to hurry up and get rid of a lot of the consoles that Microsoft is stuck with. And a lot of warehouses and the department stores such as Target and Walmart, they're going to try to hurry up and get rid of these consoles. So they'll, be looking forward to the Xbox Series X. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the GPU, the CPU, what's inside the box, the teraflops, because I feel like the when you're talking about console gamers, there's a reason why they are console gamers. The reason why they're console gamers because they don't want to be knowledgeable about GPUs, CPUs, teraflops, what's inside the console. I think that's more in line with PC gamers. I feel like PC gamers want to build their rigs, and they build their rigs with the best hardware. And console gamers expect to have a modest hardware when you compare it to the previous generation. Okay, now there was a lot of games at the Video Game Awards show that's going to be making its way to the Xbox Series X. They look, they look okay. I didn't see anything that it was a must-have. Oh, I got to get this game because it's a must-have. But I'm not saying that they're bad games, okay? But when you talk about the hardware of these consoles are going to be very powerful. When I'm talking about console, I'm talking about the Xbox Series X and the other consoles that Microsoft is going to be released. I think they're going to release one that's going to be all digital, and they're going to release another console that's going to be powerful. And when you talk about the PlayStation 5, when you compare these consoles to the previous generation, these consoles are going to have a bump on speed and power and overall how the game performs and look. Okay, I feel like this won't be a stretch, but I feel like all games are going to be running 30 frames or more. You will have exceptions to the rule that's probably going to run 60 frames, and you're going to get more of that pool this generation than you did last generation. I think a lot of people were waiting for that. When you talk about console gamers, the load time, the speed and load time, that was another thing that a lot of console gamers were concerned about. And I feel like you're really not going to experience a lot of load time with these next gen systems. But when you're talking about load time, I felt like it was already speeded up. I thought the load time wasn't that significant on games last generation. Okay, so, and I feel like a lot of people do not realize or understand. Before the Xbox One and before the PS3, there was a PS2, a PlayStation 1. It was the OG Xbox. It was the Xbox 360. And before that, Atari and things of that nature. Those consoles, if you're talking about loading time and you was impatient with the loading time with the PlayStation 4, you should have been around with the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 2, and all those other consoles. The loading time was enormous. Okay, but I feel like I don't think the load time is a huge issue with this generation. Okay, I think they really, when you talk about Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, I think they really tighten up on the loading time. And I think it's a lot smaller than a lot of people when you compare it to the previous generations. Okay, so the Xbox Series X I feel like that's going to be the console that a lot of people are going to buy. It's not going to be the most powerful console. It's going to be all digital. Okay. I feel like a lot of people are going to prefer the Xbox Series X. I feel comfortable in saying that I feel like this console is going to be $499. I feel like the powerful one's going to be $100 more, maybe $150 more. And I feel like the all digital one is probably going to be the same price, maybe $100, $50 less. Okay. But at the end of the day, let's talk about why people buy consoles. People buy consoles for exclusives. Okay, now I know a lot of Xbox fans are going to sit up here and tell you exclusives don't matter, but they actually, in reality, they really do. Okay, and that distinguish one console from another console or from PC. All right, I feel like that's going to be the problem with the Xbox Series X and in that family. People are going to come to the conclusion, okay, why do I have to spend $499 on a console when on the Xbox Series X when I can play these games on other devices when I can play these games on PC. I don't have to have a strong PC, but my PC can surpass what the Xbox Series X has, or equal, or not that. When you look at it, when you look at your PC and when you look at the Xbox Series X, it's not a bump where, oh wow, it looks great on the Xbox Series X than it does on my average PC. Okay, and when you look at the games, how many of those games are going to really stretch the Xbox Series X, and as well as the PlayStation 5? Not that many. And normally games, there's been a trend in games where they don't really stretch the boundaries of the console until like 2 or 3 years of the console being in its existence, and it's only like a handful of games when you think about it. Multiplats are not going to really do too much, and they really don't really stretch the boundaries of the console until like later on its shelf life, where they have to update the console or talk about the next generation of that console. Okay, so but exclusives really do matter, and I feel like that's going to be the number one factor why people are going to get the Xbox Series or any of those consoles, unless you are an Xbox fanatic, you are a diehard Xbox fanboy. You're going to support the cause and purchase this console. Okay, but I don't think that pool is deep as it once was with the 360 or with the Xbox One. I feel like a lot of those Xbox fanboys have pretty much moved on, either going to PC and playing their Xbox games there, or going to Sony and trying to hand on their exclusives. Okay, now a lot of people talk about the streaming services. They talk about Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now. Okay, and I've been saying this in countless other videos. When you stream a game, the performance and the enhancements and the overall look of the game is not going to be greater than buying the game, getting it from the disc, or getting it from the store. I feel like those sources are going to be a lot more stronger than streaming services. I don't feel like this country, when you look at this internet and you look at the technology, streaming is going to be head and above shoulders better than actually getting it from the disc or getting it from the store. Okay, so depending on your internet speed, your downs and ups, I don't think a lot of people, or I think they'll have a subscription service for these companies, but with Game Pass and PlayStation Now, but I don't think people are going to, the majority of their library is going to be from streaming. I think people are still going to use hard copies or just getting it from the store. Okay, so I don't think that's going to never take away. It's not going to eclipse, and that's the way how traditional gamers are going to do. Now, casual gamers, they don't care what it looks like or how it performs, long as they can have some time in it. And I feel like the casual audience may go into these streaming services. Okay, but at the end of the day, when you look at the Xbox Series X, it's going to have a long uphill climb if Xbox is looking at this as, well, if they're looking at selling consoles. I feel like Microsoft has stepped away from selling consoles. I think they're more interested in selling a service, and the console is just second to them. I still feel like there's not going to be a change next year. I feel like the majority of gamers are going to buy a PlayStation 5, and they're going to be gamers and people that's new to gaming that's going to pick up an Xbox Series X. But when the sales are said and done, the PlayStation 5 is still going to beat the Xbox Series X. They're going to pretty much come out at the same time. And at E3, you're going to be looking at why you should buy either a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. And the first category people are going to look at is exclusive games. And they're going to be more of a pool of exclusive games for the PlayStation 5 than it will be for the Xbox Series X and all those other consoles. Now, Microsoft is going to say, they have the most powerfulest console, the most fastest console, but at the same time, they're going to be talking about, Game Pass and how it's going to be on PC, it's going to be on tablets, it's going to be on smartphones, it's going to be on the Xbox consoles. But there's been rumors about it possibly going to Nintendo, being on Nintendo consoles, and a possibility of it being on PlayStation. Okay, and I feel like if you can get Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation, then why would you buy an Xbox console? You can get the best of both worlds by buying a PlayStation 5 and getting your few Xbox games on Game Pass. Okay, so and the way how Sony and Microsoft is doing business, Microsoft is stepping away from exclusives. They're stepping away from the console making business, and they're more concerned of service. Okay, and Sony is thinking about selling hardware, selling exclusive titles, okay? And they also have their service as well, but their service is not their bread and butter. Services is bread and butter to Microsoft. And at the end of the day, I think nothing is going to change, and Microsoft understands that. They're fully aware that they're never going to outbeat Sony at their own game, which is the console making business. They're never going to beat Sony when it comes to exclusives. Okay, Microsoft is traveling their own. They're discovering their new frontier. They want to tap at all gamers, not just Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, PC, all gamers. They want all gamers to play their games. Okay, and Sony is doing that to a certain extent, but they're more so in the console making business, in the exclusive making business. If they change business practices where they're trying to take a page from Microsoft, then it's going to undercut their profit when it comes to consoles, because then people are going to turn around and say, well, why buy a PlayStation 5 when I can play these games on X, Y, and Z? And then the struggle will be real with Sony, like it's right now with Microsoft. What do I think about Microsoft practice? I feel like Microsoft is doing something different. Okay, and I feel like it's probably going to work for Microsoft, but when people start comparing what Sony is doing to what Microsoft is doing, it's like apples and oranges now. It's officially apples and oranges. You can't say, well, Sony is doing this great in selling consoles and selling games, and Microsoft is struggling, because Microsoft is not in that arena no more. They're more into selling a service. They really don't care about the consoles, okay? So they're not worried nor concerned about making bundles, which they will have bundles, but they're not worried or concerned about selling consoles, okay? So I think the Xbox Series X, I feel like people are going to buy it. I don't think that means that more people are going to buy the Xbox Series X over the PlayStation 5. I still think the PlayStation 5 is still a juggernaut. That's not going to be stopped, okay? And I feel like Microsoft is going in a new direction and in a new frontier, okay? So it is what it is. I feel like at the end of the day, if you're a diehard Sony or Microsoft fan, these companies are going to, take care of you. Okay, it's not going to be to the point where but I do feel like a lot of people that's going to abandon ship, I feel like it's going to be on the Microsoft side, because when the person that was hardcore into Xbox, they're going to be realistic and say, look here, I can buy a PlayStation 5, play their exclusives, and just wait and hope that Xbox Game Pass make its way to Sony, which I feel like ultimately is going to happen, no matter if Sony wants it or not. Okay, and if you look at Sony's moves, cross play with other PC gamers as well as Microsoft on Fortnite. When you look at all those decisions, it's leading to that point. And I feel like Sony is okay with it. Because now, but that's going to affect Sony selling more systems. And it's going to devalue Xbox Series X. But Xbox is at a standpoint where they're not in the console making business. Okay? So if they sell like 20 million consoles or 30 million consoles, and the PlayStation 5 is selling 60 or 70 million consoles, they're happy with it, okay? Because that's not the business that they're in anymore, okay? So I hope this clears a lot of things. At the end of the day, I feel like the console wars, they've been over with. So if you're still hyping and pumping up the console war, it's ridiculous at this point, okay? It's a lot of growing up you need to do. I feel like Microsoft gamers are playing with PC gamers, and they're also playing with Sony gamers, okay? I think that era has passed a long time ago. So at the end of the day, what Sony's going to do is not going to affect Microsoft. And what Microsoft is going to do, it's not going to affect Sony. But as far as the Xbox Series X, I'm not going to say it's not going to sell a lot. I feel like it's going to sell a lot. But over time, people are going to say, why get this console when there's, the real reason why I get consoles are for the exclusives. And if Microsoft don't have any exclusives and I can play Microsoft games anywhere, then why buy the console? Okay, that's going to be the point where everybody makes that decision. Okay, so I'm up out of here. Y'all have a good holiday. I'll see you guys next year. It's your boy, the host with the most. I'm Chris the Don One, and I'm out.